Hello, citizens of Gotham. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Streaming live from an unknown location beneath Wayne Manor in the outskirts of Gotham City. We are here. The show today is going to be about an hour, between an hour and a half. Won't be that long because I know Jimmy's going to go live at 4:30, and I have an appointment I need to go to. And yes, Kate just put on the board that I have my first headlining set live shows. Oh my God, 2 shows, May 30th in Waikiki. So if you live in Hawaii, come out to the show. If you were thinking like, maybe we were thinking about doing our first vacation, come out. It's Memorial Day weekend. Hang out. We'll do shows. I'm going to have fun. We're going to if you fly out from the mainland for that show specifically, I'll take you surfing. I'll take you surfing in my electric car. What is up, everybody in the chat? WAN chat. How are you? Truth to Tweet, Holly Horn, Robert, Puke Chimchari, and others. Kate, our moderator, is here. Show Kate some love. Doing a fantastic job. And of course, everybody watching over on Facebook Live, thank you so much. And of course, if you are at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, Chris, Wanchat, and Kate are over there as well. Melissa H. Hello. So hit the like button, share it out. We're still demonetized by YouTube. We also have a copyright strike. So I'm going to go to YouTube's copyright school. If I do that, the copyright strike gets lifted in 90 days or 60 days or something like that. 90. It'll be lifted in August. Totally reasonable. I've also sent an email to Ruptly, which is the claimant on the copyright strike, because the copyright strike is... So 2 things happened. They pulled the video down talking about Epstein and Bill Gates. And I was just repeating information that Bill Gates doesn't want to give away the patents to the COVID vaccine to third world countries. And I was reading articles from mainstream news outlets who were being very critical of Bill Gates for not doing this. I also drew in the ties to Epstein. Again, ties that are matter of public record. The flight log showing him on Epstein's plane, his Victor, I think Nikolic was the CFO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, was the executor of Epstein's will. A new report just came out saying people within the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation said that Melinda Gates, one of her reasons for filing for divorce was when she learned about Bill's ties to Epstein 2 years ago, when it started to come out in public, in mainstream media, she started to have a problem with that. So I drew the ties to that, and the video was pulled for, quote, medical misinformation. The Guardian and Salon and these other mainstream news outlets that said the same things, they didn't get pulled for medical misinformation, but I did. And then we got a copyright strike from a video from last summer saying DHS leaked video, something like that. And I showed a clip from Ruptly, which is RT's online, news source, and apparently Ruptly is making a claim. So I emailed Ruptly directly, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I sent them a clip on Rockfin, because I can't send them the YouTube clip because YouTube pulled it down, so I can't get access to it. Yeah. So that's what's up with that. We did the Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge for Rockfin Premium members last night, which was fantastic, and some fun clips came out of there. There's some stuff about Israel. There's stuff about I debunked all of the claims that Bitcoin is bad for the environment. Completely debunked that. Just crushed it. Showed how it's bullshit. And those clips will be dropping later today. I didn't get the notes to Sammy, the producer, till a little late today, and she's like busy working, so she's like, I can't get to it till tonight. So those clips will be dropping, and also the who would win in a yacht fight, Bane or Granny Petrol, that video will be dropping. Serious analysis over who would win in a yacht fight, Bane or Granny Petrol. So those clips will be dropping for free on Rockfin and YouTube. YouTube gets them later because YouTube is taking money out of my pocket, so they don't get everything. They don't get nice things. That's what happens, YouTube. You don't get nice things. So, and then of course, if you're a Rockfin premium member, you can go watch last night's Crypto Lounge anytime you want and see all that stuff. It's fun. Great way to support our show. Hit the like button. We have 117 watching, 57 likes. Let's get the likes up there. Hit the like button, everybody. Get the like button. I'm sorry. I've been trying to line up some interviews, and it's just been having some schedule trouble with folks. And so I like to at least do 1 or 2 interviews a week. But it's just like I was going to get Aaron Matei on the show, and he wanted to. He's been he's traveling, so we're going to probably mid-June we're going to have him on the show. Abby Martin has been extremely busy, so we're going to get her on the show. So I'm sorry, I try to get more interviews during the week. And so when I thought I had some, and then there's like then they have to reschedule or change something, then I sort of like, sometimes then I'm sort of scrambling last minute. And then I'm like asking Ron super last minute, and he's like working to get ready for Jimmy's show or whatever. So anyway, Eric Oldenburg is in the chat. Detective Shitmut. I don't know if that's the same one. I hope so. If it's not, it's going to be odd. Love the BTC interview. Yeah, there's really great interviews with Rosie Tran, who we've had on the show in the past, talking about Bitcoin and how Elon Musk clearly is manipulating the markets. His like, gee, we didn't know it was bad for the environment, so we're going to stop accepting Bitcoin is complete nonsense. So just ask yourself this question. Is someone who is highly intelligent and has been selling electric cars for 10 years and now solar panels for the last 3 or 4 years, really had no idea about how much power Bitcoin uses, and then doesn't do the research to find out that it's really nonsense? Yeah, Eric, I'll interview you. If that's, yeah. We can talk about your Bitcoin stuff, and we can talk about my opinions on policing. If you want to do that right now, dude? You got time to do that right now? If not, we can set up another time. Text me or call me, dude. I'd love to have you back on the show. Hey, Gina G, what's up? Fixing up old cars is better for the environment than Tesla, actually. Yeah. As I've said, electric cars are not that'll fix everything. They're a step in the right direction in terms of just economically to get us off of fossil fuels. Sorry, Graham, Bitcoin is just the latest capitalist Ponzi scheme. That's 100% incorrect. Read the white paper. Bitcoin is actually revolutionary and is taking the power away from the capitalist the central banks. Bitcoin is actually empowering regular people, and history will prove that correctly. So that's that. Bitcoin is a capitalist Ponzi scheme. You don't understand the technology behind it. I would do a little more research on that because it's not correct. Bitcoin was created by someone who probably was an NSA cryptographer and saw how the ruling elites use the central banks to exert their power and their leverage, and went, how can we subvert that? And that's what Bitcoin does. Yeah. if we really want to get economic, we should get bicycles and electric motorcycles. Capitalism is a capitalist Ponzi scheme. That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, too, I've talked about this numerous times on this show because I'm an electric vehicle owner. But not having a car and riding your bike and taking public transportation is the best option. Those are the best options. You know, getting in a car that's an old diesel engine and converting to run on vegetable oil, that's a better option than an electric car. You know, stuff like that is the better options. Graham, would you run for Congress's People's Party or would you support Jimmy Dore? I would absolutely support Jimmy if he ran for anything. I said, I've said this before on the show. I said it when I interviewed Nick Brana on the show in January, that if they wanted me to run, if the People's Party wants me to run, I will. I would run in the 33rd Congressional District against Ted Lieu. When the People's Party nominations came out a couple weeks ago, I told all of you on this live stream, if you want me to run, nominate me. I'm not going to nominate myself. I don't want to be a politician, but if you wanted me to be, and the People's Party got behind me, I would do it. But Jimmy's never going to run. Trust me. All right. You got it. Detective Shimut. Yeah, you got it, Eric. I'll hit you up. Thanks for coming on the stream. So yeah, that was my friend Eric Oldenburg, who was on the show 2 years ago, former child crimes investigator. It's a great, fantastic interview. It's one of the most watched videos I've ever had, where we talk about Epstein. This is right after Epstein got arrested, and then maybe after he had hung himself with a paper t-shirt. And so I had my friend Eric on the show, who was a child crimes investigator, literally finding pedophiles. And he's retired now. And also has a great story of buying Bitcoin years ago and paying off his house with it. And so also I've been wanting to have him on the show because he's a former cop. And so I've been very critical of the cops, and he and I, you know, don't necessarily agree on some of this stuff, but I want to have him on the show to have a reasonable discussion or even debate. You know, he's a longtime friend of mine, and I'd love to have him on the show. So, you're the only comedian that I've known to get censored. Well, if you're a comedian and you haven't been censored, it means you're not saying anything of value. If you're just, if I was just doing dick jokes and men and women are different, or, you know, oh, maybe my only political jokes were like making fun of Trump's hair or something like that, or whatever. Joe Biden seems sleepy, but not calling him a warmonger. You know, if I just did stuff like that, real light stuff, you know, I wouldn't get censored at all. I would not get censored at all. What's up, Cat B? How you doing, Cat? We haven't seen you forever. How are you doing? Ethereum just crossed $3,400 again. Carl from the moon said if it gets up to 3,500, it's going to break upwards to probably 38 to 4,100. I just bought a little bit of the dip on that bad puppy. Bitcoin is at 43. Elon Musk, I'm almost guaranteed, is just gobbling up this dip because he's a billionaire parasite. And he could end homelessness, but won't. The Smothers Brothers were hilarious. I was watching the reason. Yeah, the Smothers Brothers were very critical of the Vietnam War. You know, so I just put up there, if you want to nominate myself or anybody for the People's Party, this is the peoplesparty.org organized nominate candidates. I would run in California Congressional District 33. I'd run against Ted Lieu. Yeah. Yeah. Right on. All right, let's hit and share this out on your social media. All right, let's get I got a hot, fresh segment. You can't vote your way out of this. Graham, don't do it, dude. It's pissing in the wind. I very much agree that it's going to take a lot more than electoral politics. Why I have a little bit of hope for the People's Party is part of the thing that needs to happen is breaking this duopoly, this two-party system, which is it's a duopoly. And so there's no outside thinking. So if some People's Party candidates actually got in, I think several things would happen. It would get a lot of press and people go, wait a minute. It might wake a lot of people up to go, well, you know, the 40 to 50% of the electorate that doesn't vote. And the reason they don't vote is because they don't feel like they're represented and nobody cares and it doesn't matter. And they think everything's rigged and fixed, which I can't say I blame them. I think you'd get some people going, well, I'll get on board with these folks because they're not, People's Party is not taking corporate money. And, you know, and I think you'd pull some people away from both parties too, as well. So you'd get a lot of people who normally don't vote would get involved. And it could be very revolutionary. I mean, you could get all of a sudden, what if there's like a half a dozen People's Party in Congress and 2 or 3 in the Senate? Now all of a sudden, both of the corrupt parties have to come to the People's Party and go, hey, we want you to support it. We don't have enough votes. We need your votes to support this bill. And the People's Party can go, well, I'd take out all that bullshit for Wall Street, all that money for war. And you can, if you add $15 an hour minimum wage, we'll do it. And the People's Party would have a lot of leverage. And, you know, why does Kashwama Sawant get so much coverage? Why does a Seattle City Council member get national attention? Because she's a democratic socialist. She's an open socialist. She's not a Democrat. She's not a Republican. And that's what it would do. So you would get a lot of leverage. Running as a Democrat, I'm going to be a progressive Democrat. I'm going to change from within. That is absolutely pissing in the wind, in my opinion. That is like, if someone suggested that, I'd say, I'll do that the same day you want me to go to the beach with a dustpan to clean up the sand. Just like a little dustpan. I'll I'll do that the same day. It'll be the same. They'll be just as effective. Yes, I would. I don't think Ted Lieu would do well in a debate against me. Sorry, Teddy. So, and I think what People's Party, whether it's, I don't know, whoever wins, if the People's Party gets someone in there, in anywhere, state assembly, a mayor, a city council member, a governor, a congressperson, like if the People's Party gets anything like that and they get a handful of them across the country, it's going to go, wait a minute, because I think that's a big part of it. Is people just feel like there's no chance. It's all pissing against the wind, which, you know, both parties are forget it. It doesn't matter. I think it's going to take more than electoral politics. It's going to take direct action is absolutely true. But as I've said before in the show, you know, local elections and ballot measures are, you know, they're still, you know, Florida got $15 an hour minimum wage. What is it? Mississippi passed medical marijuana. You've got decriminalization of all drugs in Oregon. You've got, you know, look at what happened, the recreational marijuana passage in Colorado and California and a couple other states. It's really having a slow effect. The minute in some state, and it probably is going to be Washington, is going to pass Medicare for all. We know we had them on the show. So that's going to happen. And that one of the ways that can happen is if you have some independent or People's Party candidates in the Washington State Assembly, because People's Party is absolutely for Medicare for all. And so that'll start changing things. And then it sounds like Nick Brown and the People's Party are doing a good job of trying to find districts that are vulnerable. And because that's what I forget what it was, one of those parties that had the Federalist Party or something like that, or the Whigs, they had all this power, and then another party came in and won on all the local levels. So if you win a bunch of seats in Congress and the Senate in 2022, then it's easier to run a candidate for president in 24, because that president can say, join us. We're already, and you have more People's Party candidates on the ballot. If some win in 22, then you can run more in 24, and a People's Party presidential candidate would have to be somebody that's well known, not a no name, not Howie Hawkins. And if it was somebody like Jesse Ventura, then there's a shot at, like, the People's Party could really come in and disrupt these two corrupt parties. It absolutely could happen. All right, let's do a segment. Good discussion. Universal healthcare in Canada started with one province first and then grew. Yeah, that's such a great point. Wanchat said we need every tool in our arsenal. It's absolutely true. That's the thing. Like, thinking there's just going to be this one thing, this one magic wand or person is going to come in and do all this. No, it's a bunch of stuff. So whenever there's a real progressive in the White House, when they say we're going to legalize, we're going to decriminalize marijuana on a federal level, it's not going to be so outlandish. It's not going to be such a huge hill decline, because all these states have had medical marijuana and now recreational marijuana for a while. So it's not a crazy thing. It's just like, let's just do, all these other states are doing it. Let's just make it federal. Same thing with Medicare for all. And again, while it takes, and I said this on this interview, and you bring up a great point about what they did in Canada, is if Washington passes this, all these businesses are going to start going to Washington, and Washington's going to go. Because if I was I am a small business owner. I have 2 part-time employees, and I hire independent contractors here and there. But if you told me, if I move my business to Washington, or let's say I have full-time employees and I'm paying their healthcare, which is going to take a big chunk out of my profits, then I'm going to say, well, shit, if I move my business to Washington, then I don't have to pay healthcare because they're getting it for free through the state. So that's just saving my business. So companies are going to move there, and then other states are going to go, well, we want to attract businesses here. And they're going to do that. And then it's like, well, let's just get free healthcare for everybody. Yeah. Yeah. And a state's going to go free public colleges. All the state universities are free. That's going to change things. In Canada, a third party was heavily responsible for bringing healthcare as well. See? People always say grassroots. I say mycelium tendrils. You never see a mushroom coming until it's there. Oh. Running the third party is not a decent strategy. I guess it's a little too late. Why don't you focus on recent experiences of Latin America? They could achieve victories. Don't you agree? Well, as I've said, it's multiple things. You can do both. You can try to get a third party and do grassroots things and do protests and boycotts and general strikes while having a people's party that don't have to pick one. I think that's a mistake. that lefties make is like, well, we got to pick one or the other. Why focus on this when why can't do both? Why can't? Oh, I'm organizing a general strike and running for the People's Party. The People's Party supports the general strike. Another reason for everybody to get behind the People's Party. You see them working together, not independently of each other. Wow. Listen to this, Melissa H. Only moving to Vermont, where they have great healthcare options, allowed me to start a business. If politicians really want to support small businesses, we'd have Medicare for all. Yes. There hasn't been a third-party president in over 100 years. They only work on the state and local level. Because this is the People's Party strategy. Really need you to listen to the whole concept here. That's the last time we had a third-party president was because they got the third-party candidates in all of the lower local governments and then state governments and then Senate and congressional, and then a third-party candidate was able. That's the People's Party strategy. That's how you make that happen. So imagine if Jill Stein, who I voted for in 2016, imagine if there were a dozen Green Party people in Congress and a couple in the Senate. And the Green Party had already been winning for the last 4 years in all of these, right? The 2014 midterms, the 2012 presidential election, the Green Party started taking all these seats. So then when Jill Stein ran, people would go, well, she's not just some protest vote. She legitimately could be president and she could get a lot done because she's got all these Green Party people already in office. That's top down. Third party does not work. Grassroots or mushroom tendrils or whatever, like Sean said, that's how this works. Do you see this strategy? And then the People's Party endorses a union strike. The People's Party is in favor of force the vote. Well, when this nurses union went on strike in this town or this state, the People's Party showed up. So I'm voting for the People's Party next election. See how this works? Glad, yeah. It's good to debate and discuss, but this is why we need good, solid ideas. Bobo. All right, let's do a hot, fresh segment, everybody. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, if you want to support the show, go over to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and sign up. It's free to sign up. There's a lot of free content over there. There's a $10 a month premium level, which gets you access to all of the past live streams. Like you can watch last night's late night crypto lounge. I sing a lounge song. You get all the exclusive content that's on Rockfin, like the karaoke is all on there. Of course, you can support us at patreon.com. And then if you go to Rockfin right now and do the tip, I will answer that like a super chat since Google CIA Tube has taken away the chat feature. Soulless assholes that they are. 149 likes, everybody. Let's hit that like button before we do another segment. Hot, fresh segment. Here it comes, kids. Branch chain aminos make my vegan guns. Here we go, folks. Look at that. I need a little chapstick. I close the windows when I do this show. I got the air conditioner on in the other room, but I only have one wall unit. And then I have a little fan that blows. So it's getting nice, cool. We've made a nice, cool studio. Who do we got here? Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. That's right, citizens of Gotham, bringing the truth from somewhere beneath Wayne Manor in the outskirts of Gotham City. Because the people that run Gotham, they want to keep us quiet. That's why we've been demonetized by YouTube. We now have a copyright strike from a video I did last year in July of 2020. Not making this up. They pulled the video off, just pulled it down. I did a video about a week ago citing articles in mainstream media that are critical of Bill Gates not releasing the COVID vaccine to third world countries. And I was just repeating that information, and they pulled that video down for medical misinformation. They said I was giving medical misinformation. Unreal. So please support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, blockchain cryptocurrency platform. So obviously what is happening, what Israel is doing to Palestine is completely, they're committing war crimes. They are, it's an apartheid state, and they're just saying, oh, and Netanyahu just said, we're going to keep bombing. And, you know, and they make all these, and the corporate media pushes this. Oh yeah, well, it's two sides, and Israel's just responding to crazy Hamas's thing, and they take the best care. And it's like, it's hard to get real information. Well, I've been watching Democracy Now. Their coverage of this is very good. Democracy Now has dropped the ball on a lot of things. They started pushing Russiagate, and you know, that's like such a bummer. But here's an interview with an Israeli who is running a organization that calls out the abuses of the Israeli government. And it's so thorough, and you're going to hear some similarities. Oh, the Israeli media pushes propaganda and all this. So we're going to show you this interview that was on Democracy Now!
Gonzalez. As the Palestinian death toll in Gaza tops 213, the leading Israeli human rights group B'Tselem is accusing Israel of committing war crimes by killing blockaded civilians and destroying infrastructure on a massive scale. On Monday, I got a chance to speak with Haggai Elad in Jerusalem. He's the executive director of the human rights group B'Tselem. Earlier this year, B'Tselem released a landmark report denouncing Israel as a, quote, apartheid regime.
Denouncing Israel as an apartheid regime. This is an Israeli organization. This is very important. Why do I focus on this? And why do I focus on the ex-Israeli soldiers and who are in the organization breaking the silence? Because part of the propaganda techniques that the Israeli government uses is they disseminate all this information to where anyone that's critical of Israel is either anti-Semitic or you just don't get it. Like, I've had some like seriously pro-Israeli friends of mine like, well, Graham, you don't get it. And, you know, no offense, but you're not Jewish, and you've never been Israel, so you don't get it. Okay. you know, and it's like, you got me there. You're right. I've never been there. So when I hear an Israeli or like living in Israel, studying this very effectively, that's when I start paying attention. Because I realized I was heard this whole narrative of like, well, you know, Hamas keeps shooting rockets. So what's Israel supposed to do? And that's going to be debunked here in a second.
Began by asking Haggai to respond to what's taking place now in Israel and the occupied territories.
It's becoming difficult to count the number of military assaults by Israel on the Gaza Strip. So 2008, 2009, and then 2012, and then 2014, and now 2021. We're at the beginning of week 2 of this assault. And I think we should all be reminded that back in 2014, 7 years ago, the military operation lasted some 7 weeks, with more than 2,000 fatalities in Gaza, more than 500 of them children. So this is already horrific, but we should also bear in mind that it has gotten much worse in the past, and God forbidden that this will be allowed to continue in the way that it has been allowed to continue in the past.
So where is Israeli society on this, the Israeli Jewish community at this point?
Israeli society first is receiving on domestic media a very different view than what people are experiencing in Gaza and what people are seeing around the world. Israeli media, not because of military censorship, but because of self-censorship, is reporting on Hamas rockets attacking Israeli civilians inside Israel, as indeed they should report on that, but they are barely reporting about the situation in Gaza. So from the perspective, and this also is not new, this has been that one-sided reporting domestically by Israeli media, almost all of it, certainly Israeli TV, also in the previous Israeli assaults on the Gaza Strip.
Does that sound familiar? This is what we do in the American media when we talk about anything in the Middle East, Assad, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan. Oh, we had to, or we just focus on, and he brings up a good point. Like, it's okay. They should report on Hamas shooting rockets into Israel. Okay, that's valid. But he goes, they only make it one-sided. It's the same thing of like, the same thing with our policing in the Black and brown and Native American communities. You know, like, oh, this person was a gang member. They had a gun. They shot. Okay, that's valid. But then this person is unarmed. This person did exactly what the cops told them to do. And we're not seeing that, you know, like the media is starting to now because of public pressure, mainly from last summer and scaring the ruling class a little bit. When people like went outside of CNN in Atlanta and stuff like that. So this is why public pressure actually helps. It really, you're forcing people to do this, not saying anything. They can keep getting away with this. So I'm just saying it's the same tactics. The powerful use the same tactics. I don't care if it's Israel. I don't care if it's the Middle East. I don't care if it's the good old US of A. I don't care if it's CNN or Israeli media or Fox News or whatever. It's the same tactic.
It's a story of Israel under attack, and it's almost never a story about the situation in the Gaza Strip.
Talk about why you're saying Israel is guilty of war crimes right now.
We're saying that because that is the way it is. And I feel almost embarrassed to try and quote the relevant aspects of international law that are meant to protect civilians at times of war. And to talk about distinction and proportionality, the two key principles of international law, they seem to crumble in the face of Israeli strategies of the way the Israeli army is using military force in the Gaza Strip again and again and again and again and again. This is not new. We've seen this before with horrific consequences. We've seen war crimes in previous military assaults on Gaza. And in fact, the impunity of the previous times in which war crimes were committed is what has paved the way for the continuation of more such crimes being committed. So for instance, if one thinks for a second about attacks on wiping out residential towers, apartment buildings, in apartment towers in the Gaza Strip, where in a second, dozens of families lose their homes. How can that be a military target? How is that consistent with with the principle of distinction? And the Israeli army then explains that there's a Hamas office in that building. Well, if that is the case, and not always, if ever, they provide convincing evidence that that is indeed the case, but let's assume for a second that it is, how is that attack proportional, right? And the numbers add up. Numbers in terms of fatalities, some 200 already, many of them children, numbers in terms of injuries, numbers in terms of destruction, numbers in terms of people that have to flee from one part of the Gaza Strip to another part of the Gaza Strip. We're talking about tens of thousands of people. But what we've seen in previous assaults is that sometimes people that have fled from one part of the Strip to another have been killed by an Israeli strike at the place that they fled to, because nowhere in the Gaza Strip is really safe from Israeli shelling, right? So like that is the context of what we're seeing, what has unfolded in the past, and what is continuing to unfold in front of our eyes.
I want to turn to Prime Minister Netanyahu. After speaking to President Biden on Saturday, he vowed Israel would continue to strike Gaza as long.
Clearly, Biden said nothing of any like merit. And Biden, by the way, could go, hey, Benny, the $3 billion, it's done. You better stop right now. You're not getting another penny from the United States. Why are we acting like we're America, right? And yet we let Israel, which is completely financially propped up by us, do whatever they want. We always act like, boy, we don't know. We can't hear. Oh, all right. We got to try to find both sides. Both sides? We take away their military funding. They can't bomb anybody. We could do that. Take away their military funding and then go, hey, Hamas, they have no means to blow you up. You're done bombing. You're done shooting rockets. And Hamas would probably say, hey, we were only in response to the aggression. Right?
As necessary.
We will continue to act with full force. We are hitting the terrorist organization with crushing blows. Whoever lit the fire will receive fire.
You lit the fire. This is the same language. This is the same goddamn language police chiefs use. Right? Oh, we had to. We showed up at the protesters turned violent. No, you showed up and antagonized people in peaceful protests. You show up at a protest in, gym shoes and shorts and a t-shirt and a hat, and then a bunch of cops show up armed to the teeth, telling you this is an illegal assembly. What? No, we have the right to assemble. This is an illegal assembly. Disperse. What? And then you force and some people say, fuck you, and throw like a rock at you or a water bottle. I saw the Santa Monica police completely flip out because one kid threw a water bottle on a heavily armed cop. And then another cop car ran in and get the fuck out of the way and almost ran me over. This is that times 10. They lit the fire. Oh, really? You're kicking people out of their homes, out of Palestinian land? Shut up, you right-wing cocksucker. Fuck you, Netanyahu. I'm so sick of these right-wing assholes. Fuck you. Fuck Modi. Fuck the Trumps. Fuck all of America's government. Shut the fuck up. Warmonger cocksucker. Fuck you.
To harm civilians while hiding behind civilians. We are doing everything to avoid or limit as much as possible harming civilians and to directly strike terrorists instead.
Israel has responded forcefully to these attacks, and we will continue to respond forcefully.
That is the indicted, now on trial for corruption, Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Haggai Elad, your response.
It's outrageous propaganda, as was used again in the past to try and whitewash war crimes against a defenseless civilian population in the blockaded Gaza Strip. And again, it's painful to speak from this experience, but we can already project the way the Israeli army and legal system will, in the future, if they have to, try and explain away what has happened. Think about some of the most horrific incidents of the current assault on Gaza, the bombing of a number of homes in Rimal, with more than 40 fatalities, and they're still digging in the rubble, and perhaps that horrific number will continue to rise. What the Israeli army eventually is going to say, if they will have to, is that this has been a legal assault because they thought it was a military target and they didn't know some of the aspects of the expected collateral damage. So they would say it followed both distinction and proportionality because they didn't know. And you have to ask yourself, is that acceptable? And I want to answer, that's not acceptable, because we've seen that dozens of times before. So on the one hand, they like to talk about surgical strikes based on meticulous intelligence gathering with the utmost effort to protect civilians. And then they would say, regretfully, we didn't know. We didn't know that families were sheltering in the building. We didn't know that the building will collapse. We didn't know that there was a coffee shop next door. We didn't know. Regretfully, as a result of that, while it was legal, an entire family was wiped out, or 3 families were wiped out, and 10 children are dead as a result of that. And it's unacceptable that they would just continue, like on copy-paste format, making these statements.
And it's so funny. The police departments use the same. The American State Department uses the same copy and paste. They use the same, oh, we regretfully didn't know. And then when somebody like, Chelsea Manning then shows the collateral damage video to WikiLeaks that shows they didn't care. They knew there were civilians there. They didn't care. This is the American military I'm talking about. They didn't care. They killed journalists and they didn't give a shit. Then they don't come back and go, wow, we're sorry that one time we didn't do the meticulous thing. We're sorry. No. People are jailed. Julian Assange, they're trying to kill him in prison. It's the same thing. What he's talking about, they use the same goddamn language. The American State Department and police departments use the same language. Regretfully, we didn't know the guy made an assertive movement. The kid had his hands up and you told him to drop what he had in his hand and then he dropped it and you shot him. I'm so sick of hearing the same goddamn language from the same abusive assholes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the Israeli government or the United States military or some roided out police department. It doesn't matter if it's Modi or any of these assholes. You're abusing power. You're a nationalist, Israeli nationalist, Hindu nationalist, white nationalist. So go fuck yourself. Punk. Netanyahu, of course, a criminal that's under indictment. They're all criminals. They're all war criminals. Trump's a war criminal. Bush is a war criminal. The Obamas are war criminals. Biden is a fucking war criminal. Let us not forget Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was in Mossad. One of the most notorious pedophiles' girlfriends, who also was a pedophile and a sex trafficker's dad was in Mossad, and we're supposed to believe the bullshit coming from them like you expect me to believe the bullshit coming from the CIA. Wake up and stop being a fucking idiot. Graham, it's anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. I was raised Irish Catholic. The Catholic Church deliberately allows pedophile priests, and they've covered it up. They've hired lawyers. I hate that. When you're wrong and you get busted, then let's double down on covering up the lies. So fuck the Catholic Church and fuck Israel.
That are trying to explain away these war crimes. This is not unprecedented. This could have been, should have been anticipated. You use the same military strategy that you've used before, dropping these kind of bombs in the heart of populated neighborhoods. Then these are the outcomes, and these outcomes should have been anticipated. And because of that, these excuses by Israel are simply unacceptable.
That's Haggai Elad in Jerusalem, executive director of the Israeli human rights group B'Tselem. To see the full interview, go to democracynow.org. We'll also link to his new piece in the Washington Post headlined, "Israel's chosen a two-tiered society. Violence is the inevitable result." And we'll link to his report charging Israel with apartheid. This is Democracy Now!
And war crimes. So check out that guy, B'Tselem. That's the organization, them and Breaking the Silence. But I just want to, again, it's when he said, I'm so glad this guy speaks out and this organization exists, that he can be living in Israel and call out. He goes, it's pure propaganda, what Netanyahu said. And that propaganda comes from the top down, right? The U.S. State Department pushes propaganda. We give money to Israel. We sell weapons because we need oil. We need oil. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if the CIA was like inside of Hamas shooting rockets saying just to keep this going. Oh, myth, Palestine and Israel in a conflict. Again, this Israeli guy from B'Tselem just debunked this. This is the actual fact. And this is just reiterating what that guy just said. What is happening in Palestine is settler colonialism, military occupation, land theft, and ethnic cleansing. That's why Netanyahu is like, they lit the fire. We're going to keep the pressure. We're going to keep killing. We don't care if it's women or children. He's just going to keep the pressure on. And Israelis are so propagandized to believe it. They're like, yeah, get them. Get them. They're the problem. Just like Germans did in the 30s talking about Jews. Nope. Sorry. You're no better. You can't play that card. Nice try. There is an active oppressor, Israel, and an oppressed Palestine, a colonizer, Israel, and a colonized Palestine. This is not a conflict. So Ted Lieu put out there a National Day Against Bullying and Hate. We join our AAPI colleagues, constituent allies to say enough is enough. We must end bigotry, discrimination, hate against Asian Americans, which is an important thing. The fact that people are blaming Asian Americans for COVID is the dumb. It shows you how dumb America can be. It's like blaming hurricanes on somebody that lives in Barbados. So this is Ted Lieu, who's my congressman in the 33rd district. I live in Santa Monica, right? And it's good that he's speaking up against this. He's an Asian American himself. He's a veteran. I don't know if he was in combat, but he's a veteran. So stop bullying. Absolutely. We should stop bullying. I wrote, if you really want to end bullying, Ted, get Biden to stop funding Israel. Because this is the kind of stuff that drives me insane. Is like, we only want to end some of the bullying. So we need, if Joe Biden, the bombing would stop, Biden could call up Netanyahu and go, the funding's done. Stop the bombing. The funding's over. Stop the bombing. We'll discuss. Maybe you might get it back down the road, but the bombing ends right now. And if Netanyahu's like, sorry, they lit the fire, you go, hey, I'm going to send my American flag wrapped fist up your ass. We're America. You're done. But Hamas, yeah, we're going to end. We're going to tell them to stop too. You better stop. The ceasefire stops right now. And if you don't, and then America, you're not getting any more money. And by the way, we're pulling all of these Jewish settlements out of Palestine. They get their land back. You still have Israel. You were given that after the Holocaust. You get to Israel. They get all their land back. You're done. That could happen. I'm so tired of like American presidents acting like, well, I don't, golly gee. What? Well, here's what Biden just said recently. This was put online by Max Blumenthal. I want to show you, this is a recent interview with Joe Biden.
I would. How does it feel to be behind the wheel, sir? It feels great. I tell you what. Now, I don't know if it has a stopwatch, but I think if we're going 0 to 60 in about 4.3. 4.4? Right. 4 flat? Well, we haven't released the president. I should be quiet.
Mr. President, how fast were you going?
Okay, I'm just going to step on it. I'll come off at 80 miles an hour. You'll see what it is, okay? Ready?
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No, you
since it's so
can't.
important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing. Okay, here we go. You ready?
See it, sir.
You ready?
All right, our best test driver ever. I heard a verbatim of it.
One reporter interrupts the circus. So Joe Biden just went to what this is. Joe Biden just went to Ford is making electric pickup trucks. They're going to be fast and strong. And he's doing this whole, we can make things in America. That's something I actually am glad he's doing. It's supporting. America should be leading the world in innovation, not handgun deaths. Morbid childhood obesity, people dying because they don't have health care, contaminated water. We shouldn't be leading in all those categories. We should be leading in technology. But this reporter said, I want to ask you about Israel. And this is Max Blumenthal writes, one reporter interrupts the circus media sycophants fawning over the dear leader to ask about Israel-Palestine. Biden threatens to run them over. The reporters giggle and Biden rides away to send Netanyahu more family exterminating U.S. missiles. Yes, that's what's happening. We sell them weapons. We give them $3 billion a year, Israel. So America is complicit in all of the innocent children and people dying in Gaza. And like that gentleman from Bet Salim just said, he goes, they always say we take the utmost care and the surgery and we deliberately, we're just going after Hamas. And if the Palestinians would stop letting Hamas be their leadership and okay. And then, regretfully, like you said, well, we blew up this guy, that guy, this way with what? American weapons. So Americans, our blood is on, it's on our hands. And that's Joe Biden. All right, great. He's trying to sell an electric truck made in America. Okay, cool. I'm all for Americans getting jobs, but giggle, giggle media, just like the media has gone back to brunch. So that's what's happening, everybody. And if you want to go, there is a Palestinian Children's Relief Fund is dedicated to bringing care to the over 1 million children who live in Gaza. Their lives marked with the trauma of endless conflict. There's their website, PCRF.net. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. We'll keep bringing you the truth as best as we can because we are living in a dystopian, censored, failed state that just feeds us nonsense. So whether you watch Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, you're getting fed some specific type of propaganda, but you came to this show because you want to learn more. And I suggest watching a broad range of news and seeing, coming to your own conclusions. I watch the corporate media just to see what lies they're pushing, and I watch Democracy Now! Because some things they get right. But they have pushed some nonsense. I think Amy Goodman suffered from Trump derangement syndrome and just, went nuts and couldn't really, I hope she holds Biden more accountable. So, and call your local representatives and say, end America's support, financial support, and stop giving weapons and money to Israel. Right. Call them right now. Call them right now. Call your senators, call your congresspeople and say, end it right now. Just do it. No matter who your representative is, just go on record as doing that or tweet at them and say, I live in your district. You need to do this. That's why I did that. That's why I did that tweet. I retweeted that thing with Ted Lieu. So thanks for watching the show. Support what we do because we don't get any money from Boeing or Raytheon or Shell Oil or this awful gun company or whatever nonsense. So thanks for supporting the show and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Aloha nualoa. Mahalo, my friend. Yeah, I get mad and I start swearing, calling everybody cocksuckers, but I don't know. I just don't know how to watch that kind of injustice and not. I try to get so mad on the show that I just start swearing, and I really try not to, but it's hard when I get that. I'm so sick of watching injustice, and I've just heard the same bullshit, over and over. I just keep hearing the same crap. I'm so fed up with it, man. All right. Robin Durston, thank you for supporting our show at rockfin.com. Shave your knuckles for justice. Annabelle Corley, what's up, Annabelle? How you doing, sweetie? How's everything down under? Copy paste format is best description of Israel's we need to bomb rhetoric I have ever heard. Please have this guy on your show. Yes. So thank you for saying that. I did. I tweeted out at this dude today and said, I'd love to have you on my show. And I started following him. So hopefully he will respond. I'd love to have him on the show because I really would like to ask him more questions. I thought Amy did a good job of interviewing him, but I want to ask him more, some of the same stuff, but I want to ask him like personal questions. Like how did you get to this? I like hearing about people's waking up and their transformation and when. So if he grew up in Israel, so he was obviously taught, right, all of this propaganda the way I was taught a bunch of crazy American propaganda. When did you wake up? What was it? Was it one event? Was it a slow process? And then when did you realize that you needed to get involved in this organization or create it? Doc Terminus, shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks for responding to my tweet today. Super cool, man. Very much appreciated. That was so funny. Oh my God. Doc Terminus made a movie poster, yacht fight, Bane versus Granny Petrol. So funny, dude. That was so funny. And I'm going to drop that. That's a separate clip that's going up later today. Oh, MHC, shave your knuckles for justice. To me, that video clip of Biden in the electric truck felt like, outside the one substantive question, a waste of time. Is this the best we can expect from media? It might be better to just not feature Biden and other politicians at all. Oh, I know. It's like, look, I saw Biden give the speech at the plant today talking about, it's a great little soundbite. We're going to lead the future. We're going to get us into the 21st century with electric cars made in America by Americans. I'm like, great. That's all I need to hear. I don't need all this other crap. It's a good point. We've got 253 likes. Let's get those up to 300, everybody. Hit the like button. Got a lot of likes over on the Rockfin. Checked out the hot Rockfin. Hot rock. Yeah, I agree. The two-state solution isn't the answer. It's like you gotta just go, hey, Israel, you took too much. You can't have this. They got to go back to Israel. They can't. These settlements are illegal. Give the Palestinians their land back. Stop making Gaza an open air prison, and that'll be that. You can do that. Here's the Breaking the Silence, which is testimonies of soldiers and officers in Israeli military who do not support what is happening. It's really powerful. Elon Musk is not for crypto. He wants to crash Bitcoin and crypto by manipulation and control. Elon Musk very much understands the power of Bitcoin specifically, and he's deliberately crashing the market so he can buy. This is what's called pump and dump. These are these. So, they do. He'll put out a tweet to nosedive the price, buy up more, or pump up like Dogecoin, and Dogecoin, we're going to use Dogecoin, we're in just to pump the price up of Dogecoin and then sell it off. Like, this is what these guys do. Elon Musk is a bag of shit. A bag of shit. It is 420 somewhere. Ha ha ha. I'm a paid Rockfin subscriber. Patreon censors. Yes, it does. Jennifer McClinton. I still get decent revenue from Patreon, and I appreciate it. And those of you who support me on Patreon, I very much appreciate it. But they've started to censor, and it makes me a little edgy that at some point they could just do that to me. So if you want to ask some more questions, go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Let me check this real quick. Someone tweeted out they're going to spend some of their stimulus money on Panquake. Bitcoin burn, bro. Someone has fought list, right? Yep. Separating the war. Yep, that's good. All right. All right. And Garrison, hello. All right. Let me end that. All right. All right. All right. Tell representatives and government to enforce the Leahy law. Thanks, Kate, for putting that up there. I'm reposting that on the screen. Check that out, the Leahy law. All right. 277 people watching. Hit the like button, everybody. We've got 277 likes. Let's get the likes up to 300. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I started following Bet Salim. Oh. I want to show you this. I got to show you this fan art. This is from Doc Terminus. Where the fuck did I go? Oops. There we go. Sorry. What is that? All right. Hello. No idea. I don't. Hello. Can everybody hear me now? Oh, there was 2 Chrome tabs open, and so it was like, I don't know, fuck, madness. Yeah, there was 2 Chrome tabs open for some. I don't know how a second tab got opened. I don't know what happened. It's just a typical robot bag of dicks. Anyway, god damn, that shit gets so annoying. All right, let's sing a song. I got a roll, and Jimmy's gonna start soon. You want to enjoy that? All right. let's play. Oh, that's what it is. I had my screen share on. I forgot to stop screen share. Ah, that makes sense. Thank you for Thank you for that, Kate. Thank you for Kate. Thanks for the cat. I don't know what I'm saying. See, I get put in a loop, a feedback loop, and now my brain's in a loop. Let's sing. What song do we want to sing? Oh, make with the Doc Terminus graphic. Yeah. That's what we need. That's what I was trying to do this whole time. Black hole here. You hear? That's all I was trying to do, was just show the Doc Terminus graphic, and then it turned into this goddamn nightmare. Here we go. That's all I was trying to do, and then I got caught in a fucking feedback loop. That's all I was trying to do. Just bring this on screen. That's all we were trying to do. So last night, this question was asked: who would win in a yacht fight, Bane or Granny Petrol? And I went on this. I answered it like seriously, like it was a real thing. Who would win and why, tactically, and all this stuff. And that clip's going to air. So then Doc Terminus was a fan of the show, a supporter. I appreciate Doc put this out there. It basically took the Titanic movie poster and put Bane and Granny Petrol. It took the Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. I'm glad you didn't change those names. And just put yacht fight. Oh, I love fan art. Oh, God bless you. Like that's what we need. When you talk about war crimes and innocent people dying, it's really rough. It sucks. We got to find stuff to laugh and get involved. So this is funny, man. Yacht fight. I love this. This has been a whole running theme since last week. I did the video on Jeff Bezos buying a $500 million yacht with a support yacht. And so now that's like, you got to have a yacht for your yacht. Because we all know that having one yacht without a support yacht is basically like living like an animal. And so that's a joke you guys have just kept running with. I'm seeing hashtag yacht my yacht. And then this pops up. This photo of, I don't know what Granny was doing in this instance. Well, it was pre-glasses break. The Granny glasses of one of the sides have broken off. So this is a pre-Granny break. And then just put Bane. I just love just photoshopped. When I would do Doug Loves Movies live, Doug Benson's podcast, and we would do it live at comedy clubs, and people would make their movie poster, their signs to try to get the guest to pick you. I love that so much. It was so fun. A dinghy with an inflatable Russian nesting yachts. Oh, yeah. You sank my yacht. Jeff Bezos. Great. Oh, there are narrow ferrets and hats, political vigilante graphics on Twitter. You should share. There are ferrets and hats, political vigilante. You should share. Okay, all right. I gotta go actually, but remind me on the next. There are actually ferrets and hat videos. Oh, This just retweet them at me. Ferret. I think I retweeted the ferret and hat videos. Sure. Poor Jeff Bezos. Will his support yacht get a support yacht? Let me see if I can find any of those. All right. I'll find those later. I know you've sent them. I'll all right. All right. All right. Lay All Your Love on Me by ABBA as Bane. There we go.
Feels weird.
It does feel weird, doesn't it? To push a Marvel movie.
Legacy.
The CIA had script approval.
Motion. Gotham. Lay all of your love on me. Gotham. Take control of your love.
Oh, this is what happens when I watch Dark Knight Rises. Then I go on a Bane kick for 2 months. Good fun, everybody. This must be Bane talking to Talia. Oh, that's fantastic. MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting us on Rockfin.com. I like that the recent update to the Rockfin iOS app now allows me to post comments, but if I want to send tips like this, it seems like I still have to use the actual website. I believe that's true. I think they're working on that. But the Android app is out for Rockfin, by the way. If you're an Android user, there is now an Android app for Rockfin available for your phone. MHC, boom. An unintentional chorus of grams, though before long it just sounds like a car alarm. Chimchuri, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. You have to imagine Granny Petrol telling Bane, draw me one of your... But Bane, draw me like one of your French girls. Oh, God. That is fucking hilarious, Chimchuri. Annabelle Corley, you should go to Israel and film a doco. I would fund that. Oh, thanks, Annabelle. I will look into that. In the meantime, go watch Gaza Fights for Freedom. I believe Abby Martin put it up for free on her YouTube page, Empire Files YouTube page. So that's our show, citizens of Gotham. Check out the Android app for Rockfin and watch Gaza Fights for Freedom, Abby Martin's movie. So thank you so much, folks. Go over and watch Jimmy Dore. Enjoy that show. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. And remember, follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. And that is how you will take control, Gotham. Take control of Shaving Your Knuckles for Justice.